Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Top of the morning, Raider Nation. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Good Morning Raider Nation live podcast with yours truly, Lunatic Raider, right here on Raiders Allegiance, man. Top of the morning, man. We're getting to the end of the season. This coming weekend is the last game of our 2023 NFL season against the putrid, hated Denver Donkeys at Allegiant Stadium on Sunday. With that being said, that will wrap up the season. Now it's time to focus on how to get this roster, this team better who is next in line to be coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, as well as do we keep the same coordinators? Do we replace some coordinators with the hiring of a new coach? Is it Harbaugh? Hope not. Is it AP? Hope so. You know what I mean? Or is there another candidate out there that might suit what it is that we're looking for to lead this team to a direction of getting us back into the postseason, as well as making a run for the Super Bowl? Shout out to everybody, man. Thank y'all for pulling up. It is a pleasure to have you guys here. We're going to dive into it today. We're going to talk about, well, actually these next 3 days, we're going to talk about quarterbacks. Today, first up, Bo Nix, of course. I'm kind of biased, but I'm biased for good reasons. Numbers do not lie. Bo Nix numbers do not lie. Yesterday in the bowl versus Liberty, this man goes ahead and he finishes the season by breaking the NCAA completion percentage record. That was at, who was it? Matt Jones had it back in 2020. And then not in the process also, Bo Nix breaks Marcus Mariota's, I think, his touchdown records, as well as the Oregon passing record. But see, mind you, these records that Bo Nix are breaking at Oregon, he did it in 2 years. He only played at Oregon for 2 years, and he broke these records with quarterbacks that played there for at least 3 years. So, hey, shout out to him. But we're going to dive into it because I do believe the Raiders do need a quarterback. We need one competent that can make all the throws, that's mobile, and a leader. I think all those attributes are something that we all look forward into the next quarterback is Aiden O'Connell with. From what he's showing us, we're still out to lunch on that one. You know what I mean? So we're going to break it down and get into it, man, and see if this guy, Bo Nix, if we were to select him, what does he bring to the table for the Las Vegas Raiders? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got Mike G in the building, man. Salute to you, my brother. Top of the morning. Robert Pena in the house, man. Tops. Thank you for being here. We have On Six Soldier in the building, man. Good morning to you. Happy New Year to all, by the way. So, B. Al, good morning to you, man. Tops. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We got Jamil Akbar, man. Top of the morning. Grand Rising, that's right. Salute to you. Let me see. We got Raider Syndicate in the building, man. Happy New Year's to you as well. Yes, indeed. Eugene Powell, my dude, top of the morning. Yes, indeed. Let me see. Tony Shepard, my dude. Hey, Happy New Year's to all, man. 2024, and we still rising. You feel me? Shout out to all of y'all, man. We're going to get into this shit in just a momento. A momento? A memento. What the fuck is that? Little Stan, let me tell you about what a memento is. It's a moment. A moment in time? Yeah, a moment in time. No, let me quit. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this, man. I want to break down. This is not going to be a long show this morning. We're just going to get to we're going to cut through all the gristle, the fat. We're going to get to the meat of the subject matter. So we're going to talk about Mr. Bo Nix. Yes, indeed, Bo Nix. All right. Bo Nix is my dude that I think if the Raiders do get an opportunity to take, I think this is one that you would go ahead and you know what I mean? Look at that shit. You feel me? Bo Nix, 6'2", 217 pounds. He comes out of Pinson, Alabama. Thus, when he attended Auburn, he went there because his father also, that was his father's alma mater. So that's why he went to Auburn. But still, one thing that Bo Nix was always known for was his accuracy. We're going to break down from his freshman year through the first 3 years of his career in college at Auburn and then transferring to Oregon for the previous 2. We're going to show how this man's statisticals as far as completion percentages had increased every year of his collegiate career. Mike G, I'm gonna put you in timeout, bro. Don't you be dissing Bo Nix on here. Nah, let me quit. All right. So Bo Nix, and I got all the proof in the world that he don't suck. So like I said, Bo Nix, 6'2", 217 pounds. For the regular season without the bowl game, he threw for 4,508 yards. Look at this. I want you to look at the touchdowns to interceptions. Key. Look at the touchdowns compared to interceptions. And this is not including the 5 touchdowns that he threw yesterday in the bowl game versus Liberty with no interceptions. 45 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Look at on the season. QBR, 91.2. Second in all of college football. Yes, sir. Now, this is the bowl game I was talking about. The Fiesta Bowl, where they beat the shit out of Liberty, who was an undefeated football team. Even though they're out of conference, a lower conference, Liberty still went undefeated during the regular season. And this is the first loss they got, and they got their ass whooped 45-6 in this game. Bo Nix had an 80% completion rate. Pass yards, 363 with 5 touchdowns. Here's the statisticals. Let's go into his career stats. Now notice, we're going to start at 2019 where he was at Auburn. Freshman year. Completion rate, 57.6. With 2,542 yards passing, with an average of 6.7 yards per completion, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Notice for 5 years in college, he never exceeded double digits in interceptions, but exceeded double digits in touchdowns. Now you can see his progression coming through the ranks of college as he gains the experience needed to be a quarterback in college, but now 5 years playing, he's 1 year older than most, 2 on some, depending on if they come out as a junior or if they come out as a senior. But now with the NILs and the transfer portals, a lot of players, especially quarterbacks, are finding better opportunities going to other teams. Like I said, his freshman year, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, with a rating of 125. Sophomore year at Auburn, he had 204 completions out of 357 attempts, 59.9% completion average. Or completion rate. Notice the stats are going up. 2,415 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. With a rating of 123.9. Now you go to his junior year at Auburn. He had 197 completions out of 323 attempts, 61% completion percentage, 2,294 yards, 7.1 average, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, with a rating of 130. Now we go into his senior year transferring to Oregon. 2022, 294 completions out of 409 attempts. Look how many times he attempted his throws. Over 400. So now the volume of passing is increasing. And what do we say quarterbacks get better with? Reps. These are reps that he's taking. These are live action passes in games that he's taking. So now you see the increase in production for Bo Nix during his tenure at Oregon. You see his percentage, his first season at Oregon, 71.9% completion percentage. Notice each year it goes up, and it does a big jump from his junior year to his last year at Auburn to his first year at Oregon. It took a jump of 10%. 3,593 yards passing his first year at Oregon, 8.8 yards an average, 29 touchdowns with only 7 interceptions. Now the Now the volume is increasing. You figuring he has a rating of 165.7. Once again, it jumps up 35.7% on his rating. Now let's go to this current year, his final year at Oregon, where he will enter the 2024 NFL Draft. 364 completions, 470 attempts, 77.4% completion. You have 4,508 yards passing, 9.6 yards in average, another increase. 45 touchdowns, another increase. 3 interceptions, another decline in interceptions. Go from 7 the previous year and drops down to 3. And then with a rating of 188.3%, which is a 23% increase in his rating. So every year he shows you the ability in all statistical categories to increase and get better. So that just shows you somebody that can learn. And then you figure coming from 2 different programs, which we know Auburn's program is not nowhere near Oregon's, the way they operate on the offensive side of the ball. Some of his key wins are the recent wins he had. Like I said, with Liberty, these are his stats right here with 28 completions on 35 attempts with 363 yards, 80% completion percentage in that game. And all 5 of his touchdowns came by throw. So we can't, you know what I mean? There's no trickery in the numbers. Like I say, the numbers will not lie to you. With an average of 10.4 yards per completion, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. His longest pass was for 50 yards, sacked none. His mobility is another attribute to what he brings to the table. And in that game, he had a rating of 214.3 with a QBR of 93.6. And that's a bowl game versus an undefeated team. Even though we've seen what Georgia did to Florida State. And we know that Liberty is not like the strongest comes from the strongest conference out there. But they had to be the best in their conference because they were undefeated. All right. So there's other shit I want to look at. So we're going to go into these other stats. All right. So we see the but I want to show you that was every stat that I just gave you was his passing stats. The QB, the 45 touchdowns. That we're talking about his total touchdowns that this year, 2023. Now I'm gonna show you. 2023, he threw for 45 touchdowns, right? He ran for 6. You know what I mean? He's mobile. He ran for 6. Last year, his first year at Oregon, he ran for 14 touchdowns on ground. Auburn, 4 touchdowns. The year before that, and the year before that, 7 touchdowns on the ground. So his mobility is another attribute that you can go ahead and use him to roll out the pocket to sustain the play. Now, we know exactly what we have with our offensive line. Can it be tweaked? Can it be adjusted to be better? Of course. I'm not a big thrill of the center position as well as the right tackle, Illuminor. I doubt he returns. He was only on a 1-year deal. James, I'm not. I think he's a little bit light in the ass at center, especially when you're going up against teams who run 3-4s with a big nose tackle that might outweigh James by up to 50 pounds. We've seen that we got a nose tackle in free agency, McCall, who's close to 400 pounds. So just imagine you got James at 300 pounds even going up against a 379-pound nose tackle, bruh. You know what I mean? That's 80 pounds more than him. No wonder he's getting his ass pushed back into the pocket. No wonder Aiden O'Connell can't step into his throws. But with a mobile quarterback, he can get outside of the pocket and still make plays happen. He also received the touchdown, but that's not really big stats. That's what I wanted to break down. I'm gonna show you another thing. Where the freaking track overview. Now, Bo Nix, the way he plays the game, very mobile, elusive. He has a little bit of Mahomes in him, as far as you know how they do not like quarterbacks to throw against the grain of throwing across their body, but some can do it and be very accurate. Now, for Bo Nix to be able to make plays like these, he's very accurate. So he is successful with plays like these. I'm going to show you a highlight. Hold on, let me pull this down because I don't want no commercial and shit. But I want to show you the 5 touchdowns he threw in this bowl game, and you're going to see him throw across his body. You're going to see him scramble, stay alive, and still keep his eyes focused on the open receiver and make the play as well. Eagle Terrier 207, what's up with you? All right. Shout out to everybody that's out there watching, man. Hey, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, man. I really appreciate it, man. We are working our way towards 1,500 now. I forgot to mention we hit the 1,400 subscriber mark, and we're still moving. We're still moving. So next up, 1,500. Once again, once we get to 2,000 subscribers, I will be doing 2 jersey giveaways of your choice, home or away, as well as name and number on that jersey. So yeah, stay tuned. Help me get to 2,000. Share with friends. Share this video. Leave comments. Do all that good shit, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All right, man. We're going to get into... Hold on. Let me put this down real quick. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show some highlights for fair use, for educational purposes only. Fair use. Let's get it. Now watch this player right here. This is what I talk about, mobility, and then throws across right to the back of the end today. Mahomes always try to look off people and throw across his body. You see some quarterbacks that can do that and be very accurate. And just his mobility to throw right back across the bam to an open man in the back of the end zone. I tell you, hey, I am a homer for Knicks. I am an Oregon fan, but therefore I do pay attention to this guy where a lot of people might not. You know what I mean? This ain't the only quarterback we're going to be doing. Tomorrow, we will be doing Jayden Daniels. As far as the case for him, what he brings to the table for the Raiders, which we know the connection between him and AP, which I think is a beautiful thing. If you were able to get a Jayden Daniels, then I'll say squeeze the trigger on that. If AP is the head coach, I think just that relationship this young man has with AP, man, I think it works in his favor for AP to get the best out of him. Because I mean, you look at AP and his connection with Jack Jones, and we've seen what Jack Jones brings to us. You know what I mean? That's a very well wanted attribute at the corner position that Jack Jones brings. So Jayden Daniels will be tomorrow's topic as far as the case for him. And then Thursday, we will follow that up with Michael Penix Jr., who has led the Washington Huskies over the Texas Longhorns last night to get them to the national championship versus Michigan. So we'll see quarterbacks galore on display Is Penix Jr. somebody you would look at? He's a lefty. He's a good pocket passer. He can be mobile too. He can be mobile. It's not his forte, but he can be mobile. He's a damn good pocket passer. So that's another depending on where we select in the draft, we got options. I truly believe we got damn good options. You know what I mean? So yes, indeed, that was Bo Nix. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all for pulling up. NorCal Raider, Jesse, Raider Syndicate, all you guys, Robert Pinion, Tony Sheffer, Jameer Akbar. Yes, indeed. Raider Syndicate. Hey, but Luna, we talking about college. Like you say, we've seen quarterbacks. No, that's true, but ain't that for any quarterback coming out of college? Isn't it? Matter of fact, isn't that true for any player coming out of college? It's the same thing. So no matter who you pick out of college, you're still facing the same question. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's only Bo Nix that gets the question. Caleb Williams is gonna get the same question. Jayden Daniels is gonna get the same question. Michael Penix Jr. is gonna get the same, you know what I mean, question. Drake Mays is gonna get the same question. Every single college player coming out is gonna get that question. But the one thing that kind of takes the stress off of that with Bo Nix is the fact that he does have that extra year of experience. You know what I mean? So it's not being too much. Oh, it's only a 1 year difference. I mean, there's no difference in if a red shirt freshman, you know what I mean, had to sit out. He's still in college for his age is still gonna go up. It ain't like you red shirt and then you don't have a birthday. You know what I mean? So you do have red shirt freshmen that stay all the way through their senior year, but they first real freshman year is gonna be the year they play after they sit out the first year. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's still the same question with any player. It's still the same question. So it doesn't matter what quarterback you select, you're still going to have that same question. I'm giving out options at the Raiders because we're going to have a high draft pick to Caleb Williams. You know what I mean? And Jayden Daniels, that where does he go? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that can really change the outcome of the draft. Say, for instance, Chicago Bears has the number 1 pick, right? A lot of people in the media and whatnot are saying that the Bears are going to stick with Fields. The fan base want them to keep Fields. You know what I mean? So if they keep Fields, they can either stay at number 1 and pick a receiver. Some may say, you know who. But then again, they can go elsewhere. I don't know what they do. Now, if they trade Fields, then that is a big indication that Chicago plans on drafting a QB. Who's the QB they would go after? Right now on the list, everybody still drools over Caleb Williams. That could happen. If that happens, then it's going to be next in line through the draft of these quarterbacks. I don't think a whole shitload of quarterbacks are going to be taken in the top. Let me see, about top 10. There's too many quarterbacks, bro. You know what I mean? Like legitimate quarterbacks that can come in and do some good. You know, Ewers out of Texas is a good one. You know what I mean? You got some other quarterbacks out there as well that you could get in the second round. But us being in the first round team, I think quarterback with a draft. I think we're at about 12 right now in the draft sequence. So you're at a good position to be at. Maybe Bo Nix goes to 12. You know what I mean? Maybe it's Penix at 12. Do we get lucky and move up and get Jayden Daniels? I mean, there's a lot of different avenues we could take. You know, rumors came out last year. We were trying to get CJ Stroud. You know what I mean? We were willing to move up. So can that, you know what I mean? And you figure Champ Kelly was in that same front office when those discussions were taking place. And he was on board with Ziegler to move up to get CJ Stroud. So if that was the case, then we know he's the kind of general manager who's open to the idea of moving up and selecting a franchise quarterback. So that could possibly be on the table for the Raiders to do in this draft coming up. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different ways to look at it. Like I said, trades can definitely change the outcome of the draft depending on who picks what and who trades what. You know what I mean? So it's a stay tuned type scenario. I'm just going over quarterback prospects. I'm not saying that we are going to take these guys, but we'll see how the draft unfolds. And if somebody falls to us like a Bo Nix, you would have to pull the trigger, and I would think. You know what I mean? Shit, if somebody better than Bo Nix falls to you, can you move up a couple of spots to grab them? I think you entertain that as well. Holly, good morning to you. Top of the morning. 303 Raider, what's the deal, man? Salute to you. Yeah, that left hand, hey, Michael Penix Jr. for real. Like I said, that we got. See, this is the beauty. We have options. Now we're not saying nobody is saying that these and what's name made a good point. Syndicated made a good point that you're not guaranteed these guys are going to pan out, but you can't be scared. You know what I mean? What they say, scared money don't make money. You got to get out there and gamble. If you ain't, hey, you got to get out there and gamble, bro. Because if you hit on your quarterback, that is a position we no longer have to worry about for years to come, possibly 10 years. And when was the last time the Raiders had a quarterback? Well, we know that was damn near 10 years, but that was actually getting us to the playoffs and winning games. You know what I mean? It's time to define that one, bruh. And I think this is the best draft to do it. To not be in the top 5, this is a draft where you can still come away with a good quarterback. You know? So it's just a wait and see how this draft falls to us, man. But we only got a few months. The draft is in April. You know, we're in January. So 3 months. 3 months we will be talking about the draft. Yes, indeed. Man, if we can get a Rich Gannon type quarterback, I need a team leader. I need someone that can make all the throws, deep routes, short routes, and can use his legs to extend plays so we can make sure we can keep those chains moving. That's, man, and you figure a rookie quarterback coming into our situation, just imagine, you're a rookie, you went out, your name's starter, and you got Devontae Adams. You got Zamir White and Josh Jacobs if you bring Josh Jacobs back. You got Renfro if you don't trade him. You got Trey Tucker with his speed. You got Jacoby Myers. You got Michael Mayers, a nice young rookie tight end. Maybe you go into the draft and you'll grab you another wide receiver. Maybe you grab another tight end. Now you take care of the offensive line and free agency with the shitload of money that's freeing up with the dead money hit that we took, and you go out there and you solidify your offensive line with proven veterans. You know what I mean? That can make a whole difference to a rookie quarterback coming in there if he has all this help, especially with the defense we have. And you got to also acknowledge the fact that this defense should get better with the additions of new players in the draft and free agency as well. You know what I mean? We found our counterpart to Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz. We see that Tyree is beasting up the middle at defensive tackle, but I like the way that Patrick Graham thinks by he moves Max Crosby around and he moves Tyree Wilson around. You know, it's a lot for an offense to have to be aware of messing with our defense, and just think, like I said, we're going to get better with new additions we add to this team. Spillane, maybe go get a linebacker. They got some good players out there I've been looking at so far, but we got action, y'all. We got action. Captain Jack, man, salute to you, man. Happy New Year's to you. Good morning. Yes, indeed, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's pretty much it on the in a nutshell, yeah. So tomorrow, like I said, it will be Jaden Daniels that we will be discussing as a possible target for the Raiders at quarterback in this upcoming draft. And then, like I said, Thursday we will be covering Michael Penix Jr. This will be the last week of the season. So fuck your team Friday. The hated donkeys. We're gonna go in on them on Friday. I know I missed this last week, but the holidays had me busy, y'all. But the holidays are over. Now we're back to regular business. Let's get to it, man. And then next week, what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about potential coaching candidates for the Raiders. That's including AP, Harbaugh. See, a lot of people is on the Harbaugh wagon, right? And see, my thing with that is, and I tell people, and they try to, people don't remember the past, but don't forget the situation with Harbaugh with the Niners. When the Niners, remember the Niners were talking about trading him to Cleveland? See, people don't understand that. It wasn't just because of Baalke and Harbaugh. It was because Harbaugh and the players started bumping heads. There was a division between Harbaugh and the players of the Niners that year. Now, if you think I'm lying, I'm about to take y'all back to this news update that Deion Sanders was telling everybody about. Hold on, Will, 1 second. Let me get it pulled up. I'm gonna show you exactly what you're dealing with. See, so it wasn't because the GM and Harbaugh was bumping heads. It was the players and Harbaugh were not on the same page. They were having issues. This is why the Niners were looking into trying to trade Jim Harbaugh to the Cleveland Browns. No, don't forget that was a thing. And let me show you this old news back his last year with the Niners before he ended up leaving, going to Michigan.
Speaking of Deion, he reported on Sunday that 49ers head coach Jim Harbaugh and his players are, quote, not on the same page. Deion, what brought you to that conclusion?
Well, I have sources. I'm not going to name my sources. I have sources that wear football uniforms, coats, suits, and ties. Yes, and I didn't stutter nor did I stammer. This is real. You talking about Trent Baalke. We know there's a rift between he and Harbaugh. We all know that. That's why the whole Cleveland thing came up last year. Who had ever heard of thinking about trading a coach? Why would Cleveland even inquire if there was nothing there? That has trickled down into the locker room. Not only are my sources correct, I checked 3 insiders from different networks, and it's 100%. You can shoot the messenger, but the message is real.
So never forget, bruh. That's how Harbaugh left the Niners, is that there was a rift between him and the players. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I don't be making this shit up. I'm just reporting the shit that happened. Yeah, and you know what, Captain Jack? I'm not comfortable with giving a coach the reins over the GM position as well, because he has no one to answer to. You know what I mean? He has no one to answer to if he wants total control. So that's the thing right there that kind of I don't like that. I need to have 2 separate mind trusts in the front office where you guys can sit, discuss who you targeting, what moves you want to make, and does it make logical sense for the franchise. I don't want a guy to have that much power where if he wants to trade somebody, he can. If he wants to draft somebody, he can, and sign somebody, he you know what I mean? We don't need that. Exactly. We don't need any more fucking, man, that's the realest shit. We don't need no more Gruden contracts, man. We need to have somebody that we know for certain can lead this team. And right now, we know for certain AP can lead this team. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Now, there's ways you can go about this. You can go ahead and give out AP after you go through all the rigmarole of going through interviews and fulfilling the Rooney Rule, which he is the Rooney Rule. And then sign him to a contract. Another avenue you can take is to be fair to AP is like, look, we know it happened in the middle of the season when we fired the coach and GM. I picked you, I being Mark Davis, I picked you to be the head coach. And I know it was just a sudden off the cuff type thing, and you handled it very well. You handled it very well to just be thrown in there with no head coaching experience in the NFL. You know what I mean? And you handled that. You went out there, you got the attention of your players. Your players were willing to follow you through hell, sleet, or storm. You know what I mean? All we got to figure out now is what do we do with the coordinator positions. So what you could do with AP is give him another year as interim. Give him a full year. Same with Champ Kelly. Give him unless you want to make Champ Kelly signed, sealed, and delivered. You go ahead and let them keep that title for 1 year. Give them a 1-year deal. And what you do is you be fair and square and let them go ahead and handle the draft, free agency, and see what they can do. See what they can do. Get the right offensive coordinator in there. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's going to be people out there that can come and do the job because we know AP is in touch with a lot of former coaches and whatnot. And, you know, those former coaches also had a coaching staff. So there's plenty of people out there that AP knows personally that can come in here and handle the offensive play calling. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, he's never coached before, but he has played under coaches and coached with former NFL coaches in college. You know what I mean? It's no different than when you look at the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion Sanders never coached before, but look at the people he's bringing in. Now you got people that's experienced like Warren Sapp coming in to handle the defensive tackles. You know what I mean? You got to gain your experience somewhere. And these were players that all played at a high level, especially Super Bowl winning quarterbacks or Super Bowl winning players, period. Harbaugh never won a Super Bowl, and getting there is not good enough. Ask the Buffalo Bills for 4 years in a row. How is the beauty of making 4 straight Super Bowls without winning one? Is that fulfilling? Is it fulfilling to meet the girl at the club and take her home and she sleeps on the couch? You know what I mean? After you done bought drinks and shit. Come on now. What, Jack, here's my theory on the Bieniemy thing. You know, if Bieniemy goes to Kansas City, here's the thing that can work in Bieniemy's favor. Bieniemy goes to back to Kansas City. We all know that Mr. Walrus is going to be the one responsible for the offensive play calling. So Bieniemy was overlooked with Washington. You would think if Bieniemy left Kansas City, it should have been for a head coaching job. But he left for equivalent offensive coordinator. Now, going to Kansas City, you're not going to have any control over the offensive. I think you played a big part in it. You know what I mean? But him coming to the Raiders with a defensive-minded head coach, you will be in total control of the offense. That would truly be your offense with the Raiders if Bieniemy was to come to the Raiders. That's the difference, which will look more credible on his resume, because right now when you're like how we look at, for instance, I'll give you an idea. Like Bill Belichick. Any defensive coordinator that's looked at from the Patriots under Belichick to be a head coach, you're kind of gonna, you know what I mean? Was that really the defensive coordinator or was that Bill Belichick? That's where you're gonna, you know what I mean? And now your resume becomes a little bit more questioned. Like, did he really take big part in calling the plays, or was it the head coach? You know what I mean? That's why I said with the Raiders, that wouldn't even be an issue with Bieniemy here because there is no offensive mind head coach. You would think AP is, well, not think, you know, his experience is more to the defensive side of the ball, him and Patrick Graham. You know what I mean? That's why that defense is the way it is and developing into something very special. Bieniemy will come in here and just solely be the hands, the puppeteer, shall we say, over the offensive play calling with the Raiders, therefore making his resume look a whole lot better as him just the head man in charge. If he can turn this offense around and get us to get back around 25, 30 points a game under his tutelage and his coordinating skills, that's gonna make him look wonderful. Yeah, he had the domestic issue. But you got to remember, bro, how long do you crucify somebody? You know what I mean? You can't be crucified for life. He didn't show a history of domestic violence. We talk about back when he was a player in college. You know what I mean? That's one thing that we always do. We always hold a dark cloud over everybody's head like people don't change. And people do change. People do learn from their mistakes. Ain't that what we want our rookies to do? Improve from their mistakes? So you figure an athlete out of anybody should know better as far as if you make a mistake, learn from it and grow. So I wouldn't hold that over his head back at Colorado. Yeah, but Biletnikoff situation was a whole, you know what I mean? We had a fatality in that shit, you know. Not saying that, one is lesser than the other. None of it should happen at all, period. But as human beings, we all make mistakes. That's how we further ourselves. You know what I mean? No, I ain't saying you're not crucifying them. I'm saying people in general, because they will bring up the past. And it's like, it's the past, though. I can understand if it was last year or the year before, but we're talking about some years ago that was an issue. Or not even, I won't even say an issue, an incident. Shit, I'm a living example. You know what I mean? Thank God I changed my ways and became who I am, because shit, I'm raising a wonderful son to not be like me. And he knows that. I tell him, I said, don't be like dad, be better than dad. And that's the only we can do is grow individually and grow from the knowledge we pass on and make others grow. You know what I mean? But I mean, hell, Bieniemy is still getting jobs. I don't think it's stopping him. But I understand, you know what I mean, as far as the angle from Biletnikoff and him, I really understand that one. You know what I mean? I understand that. I got friends who lost their daughter to domestic violence. You know what I mean? Like close friends had it happen too. So I understand that full-heartedly. To lose a child is, you know what I mean? But I mean, there's other options out there as well. There's other options out there as well. Like I said, AP does have personal relationships with coordinators. Oh, excuse me. While coaching at Arizona State, having Herm Edwards in his corner, Marvin Lewis, you have guys that were head coaches who had coordinators that they knew underneath them. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Maybe you bring in what's his name, Gacy, the former coach of Miami, but he was a hellified offensive coordinator. That's where Bo Hardegree under his coaching tree. But now you had Hardegree forced into a situation that I don't think he was ready for. I know he wasn't ready for. You know what I mean? He didn't have no time to prepare for that. He was just thrown into the fire. Does he develop into a great coordinator? Possibly. But maybe you might bring Gacy in as an offensive coordinator and keep Bo Hardegree as your QB coach and keep him with his tutor, his mentor. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Captain Jack. Not as a head coach, but bring him in as an offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? You see a lot of people with that trait too, that they're not good head coaches, but coordinators, they knock it out the park. I think what that comes down to is the fact that I think some people aren't capable of juggling, you know what I mean? Of juggling different responsibilities. I think if you just get somebody one responsibility, some people are just a single responsibility track mind. You know what I mean? They'll do great with just one responsibility. Shit, I don't know if Penix is gonna make it, bro. Down to us. We're gonna talk about Michael Penix on Thursday. We're gonna bust it down. Like I said, there's plenty of quarterbacks that I like that will fall to us. But who, though? That's the question. How will the draft unfold? Who will value one quarterback over the other? That might change the whole scenario of quarterbacks coming off the board. This is the fun part of the postseason. You know what I mean? Of the all season, the draft, because anything can happen. All it takes is one major trade, and for a player to be selected that was not expected to be selected, because you will have teams reaching. That's what we have to. That's what we're going to have to refuse to do, is reach. That's what we don't need to do. I think you draft the best available at position of need. We know quarterback is a position of need, and hopefully the best available will be a quarterback when we're up on the board for the draft. You dig it? All right, y'all, man, I'm about to jump off all here, man. But, hey, tune in tomorrow. Same Raider time, same Raider channel, right here on Raiders Allegiance, man. It's the Good Morning Raider Nation live podcast. Tomorrow, we are going in on Jayden Daniels, and not going in on a bad way, but going in on if he does become a Raider quarterback, what does he bring to the table? What can we expect from him? We already know the connection between he and AP coming out of Long Beach Poly onto Arizona State, just like Jack Jones. And you see what he's getting out of Jack Jones. I think, like I said, AP is the kind of guy, he's the kind of leader where he's more than just a leader of men. He's more like a father figure to the young guys, more of a mentor, and he helps get the best out of them. I think Jayden Daniels will be a wonderful selection for the Raiders if he's there for us to pick. You know what I mean? But we will talk about that tomorrow. Shout out to Alex S., man. Thank you for pulling up, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, they have mobility, Alex. Bo Nix mobile, Jayden Daniels mobile. Michael Penix is sneaky. He's a pocket passer, but he's mobile. Hey, watch the national championship game against Michigan. You know what I mean? That's another quarterback too. Is a quarterback from Michigan. You'll see that on center stage. Washington Huskies, Seattle against Mickey Ficky. Michigan Wolverines, man. Let's go for the national championship. Winner takes all. Oh, he's yeah, but didn't he go to Long Beach Poly, right? He went to high school with AP, where AP was coaching at. Hey, AP was a savage in high school coaching, bruh. You talk about running up the score on fools? Man. All right, y'all, man. Y'all enjoy y'all day. To those who are here for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Man, we will be back tomorrow morning, like I said, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Raiders Allegiance. I'm Lunatic Raider. You have been watching Divorce Court. Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. Y'all have been watching Good Morning Raider Nation live podcast, man. Enjoy your day. Be safe. Make it back home to your loved ones. And I'll see each and every one of the nation here tomorrow morning. Let's go. I'm out this. B-I-H.